Good morning, or good morning for me. I don't know when you're going to hear this, but I have a really, really cool little testimony maybe to share with you about how God showed me something. So this past Sunday was a baptism Sunday for my daughter's church. She lives in Ohio. I live in Georgia, and my little granddaughter was baptized. And so I was watching, and I really like the pastor, and I'm eventually going to be moving there. So I thought, well, maybe I should check out some of their other services. So Sunday night, I was listening to their Sunday evening service. I hadn't discussed this with my daughter or anything. But I was listening, and it started out with hymns, and I'm listening, and I thought, well, gosh, I couldn't see the congregation. I could only see the person leading the music. I thought, that sounds just like my daughter. Like, I could hear her in the singing. And I said, but I didn't know for sure. And, I'm thinking in my mind, is that really her? And, after they were finished with the hymns, they asked the children in the congregation to come up and recite their memory verses that they had memorized that week. And so the line of children comes up, and here I go. I see my two little grandchildren. And I thought, oh, okay, they're there. And so I thought that was kind of cool that I could actually hear my daughter's voice through all the other people. And I know it was her because when the kids came off of the altar and went back to their seats, I could tell that my two little grandchildren were going to somewhere close to the front. So the next day, I was cleaning for one of my friends, Vicky, and she's a very strong Christian, and I was sharing this with her in the baptism and all that. And as I was telling the story about being able to hear my daughter's voice in the middle of everybody else singing, I said, I wonder if it's like that for God. Like, he can just hear each one of us individually like that instead of all together. And so we talked about that for a minute, and I came home, and I was doing my Bible study yesterday. Listen to this. This is so cool. This is in Mark, and it's chapter 10, verses 46 through 52. Okay, listen. This is really cool. Okay, so it's talking about Jesus healing Bartimaeus. Now they came to Jericho. As he went out of Jericho with his disciples and a great multitude, so he was with a lot of people, blind Bartimaeus, the son of Timaeus, sat by the road begging. And when he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to cry out and say, Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me. And then many warned him to be quiet, but he cried out all the more, Son of David, have mercy on me. So there's all these people around, and you can imagine there's people talking and having conversations, and the sound of walking, and Jesus is probably talking too, and people were saying, shush, shush. And he just kept crying out in his own voice. And then it says, Jesus stood still and commanded him to be called. And then they called to the blind man, saying to him, be of good cheer, rise, he's calling you. And throwing aside his garment, he rose and came to Jesus. So Jesus asked him, what do you want me to do for you? And the blind man said to him, Rabboni, that I may receive my sight. And Jesus said to him, go your way, your faith has made you well. And immediately he received his sight and followed Jesus on the road. That is totally, totally awesome. So when we're crying out to God, and we think that he doesn't hear us, he does. He hears your prayers. He hears your worship. He hears you, and he hears you clearly. He knows exactly what you're asking for or what you're trying to tell him. And don't let anybody tell you to shh, don't, be quiet. Don't let anybody tell you that. You keep praying to God, because he will pick your voice out. Just like I could hear my daughter's voice through all those other voices, he will hear yours, because you and I are children of God as well. Through all the chaos and the din and the other noise that's going on in the world, he knows. But somehow, because he loves us so much and he knows us so well. He can hear you and he can hear me. Everything that we have to tell him. And I think that's just so incredibly awesome and beautiful. Beautiful how much he loves us. We are definitely very, very precious to him.